Well, that was indeed a wild card round.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Still one more matchup.
yeah, I mean, I'm not done yet, obviously, but what is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Sobacksports podcast. This isn't a typical um, episode of the podcast, but given that it is the playoffs, we decided that it's time to do some like recaps for all the games that have happened. Some good, some pretty bad. But always remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Episodes every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Given that it is the off season coming soon, it's going to be a little bit less than normal. But hey, we'll try to put out episodes every week. Given that there's head coaching, free agency, draft, news galore. But you know, going back to the topic, not Chicago Bears. What am I talking about? It's not. They're not even here. Um, the playoffs are underway, well underway, and besides one matchup, everything is pretty much set for the divisional round. And there's a lot to talk about, especially for the games that have happened so far. Yesterday we had 2 games. Today we had, I think, 3 games, and tomorrow we have 1 game. So, what better way to do than to start off with looking at some games? Let's start with the Texans and Chargers game. You want to give your instant reaction to that?
Yeah, yeah. So I said my prediction. I had the Texans win this one. Um, a lot of people counted this team out. I really believe that.
Me
Um,
too. I
because all
counted them
I
out.
think people. I feel like this team. Like the reason why people counted them out is because of their offensive line. It was because of like the um injuries to Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and stuff like that. But I feel like obviously the game didn't start off well for the Texans, but CJ Stroud really under pressure came through at the end, and obviously, look, he did not play his best game. I think really it really came down to the defense and special teams that really won this game, and the Chargers' mistakes. I mean, if you force a quarterback to throw 4 interceptions, I mean, I would hope that your team would win the game. Again, I'm not taking this away from CJ Stroud. I think he's a fantastic quarterback. I think he played really well. And I mean, he still threw for 282 yards. So I think he played well. I think Mixon played really well at the end of the game. First half was not really the best for the rushing attack, but I mean, throughout this game, even the first half, CJ Stroud had to throw the ball a lot. I mean, he had that one bad interception, but really, I feel like CJ Stroud really didn't put the ball in harm's way as much, which really helped the Texans. Like, he really helped the team have a chance to win the game, right? So I'm really happy for him. Next week against the Chiefs, he's gonna have to do a lot more. Um, I don't think he's gonna, but I think first of all for the Texans here, the season was very rocky. Like there was a lot of expectations of the Texans. They were really supposed to compete for the 1 seed, ended up being the 4th seed. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's a great win for them. Good momentum push to go to Arrowhead next week against the Kansas City Chiefs. But I really want to talk about the Chargers too. I think the Chargers here. I mean, this is an ultimate choke job. I mean, you were the favored on the road against a Houston Texans team that was struggling. I mean, the defense. I mean, they were fine in the first half, only give up 7 points, but then at the second half, it was just like they couldn't stop the run. And then they just couldn't stop Nico Collins. Like Nico Collins went crazy this game. Um, and then just Herbert. I mean, look, a lot of the interceptions really. I mean, I think 2 of the interceptions really weren't on him, but or actually maybe one of them wasn't. But Herbert, you can't be putting the ball in harm's way like this. Like really, this playoff game really shows like is Herbert like he's a great, fantastic quarterback in this league, but when it comes to playoffs, he's a choker. Like right now, he's proven that he's a choker in the playoffs. I hope his career turns around. I mean, just for the Chargers franchise, I mean, I think their fan base has struggled enough, but I feel like if I'm a Chargers fan, it sucks obviously, but I mean, you still have a great quarterback. You still have a good head coach. Um, You just have to get more pieces. Get Herbert a wide receiver one. Lad McConkey is good, but build up the receiving core. Maybe you go out, maybe you go trade for Tyreek Hill, or maybe you go out and get a wide receiver in free agency, or you go into the draft and get a wide receiver. You have many options. I think Herbert's a fantastic quarterback. You just need to surround him with better weapons. Um, but again, not taking away from what Herbert did this game. I think he played really bad. Um, I think J.K. Dobbins, the running attack was not good either. You saw it receiver there. He only had 26 yards, and that I feel like the Chargers also went away from who they were, which was a run first team. And I just again, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I just think that the Chargers really pulled the Ravens from last year, where like the Ravens were like a really rushing heavy team, and then really went away from them because they were down like a few scores. So I mean, again, I think the Texans were fantastic. Their defense prevailed, but the Chargers have a lot of questions this offseason to answer.
I wouldn't say they have a lot of questions to answer. I think they're just, Jim Harbaugh. This is his first like loss, besides the Super Bowl in the playoffs. And yeah, like apparently there was a stat about that, and it's kind of insane to think about because we always forget that Jim Harbaugh was in the NFL at one point. And yeah, you can say this team was imperfect, but to say that this isn't a step in the right direction is kind of like selling this team short. This team, you know, didn't compete in this game. Fell short.
But they lose
But
by
there's a
20
lot of
points.
positive. I get it, yeah. But there is a lot of positive to take on about this. And Jim Harbaugh is a good coach.
Yeah, for sure.
He and I think that um, it really just goes to show that you know in the NFL it's hard to win. It's hard to really decide or choose what team is going to win that day because it is a single elimination. It's not like the NBA or the NHL or the MLB where it has multiple game series to decide that. If that were the case, so many of the top teams would be winning in the NFL. That's how it is. Um, yeah, I mean, you're kind of nailed it. They went away from the run game. Um, I didn't get to see the game fully, but based on like what people were talking about, it just seems that seemed to be the case. Herbert made a lot of like errant mistakes. Throwing across his body for that first interception was one of them. Um, it's this team is young. They have a lot to improve on the offensive line, on the wide receiver core because give Justin Herbert some slack here because a lot of the interception or like one of the main interceptions actually was like in the hands of the tight end and he tipped it up and it was scooped up by the Houston Texans. So, not all on Herbert and it's been like a common theme this entire season where his receivers um are kind of just dropping balls like left and right. But give credit, Lad McConkey, he's a stud. He's from Georgia. Like he took a while for him to, get his feet under him, and he's showing out, and he's
Here's my
showing
thing.
that, yeah,
I want to ask you a question here. So after this game, I'm looking at the Texans side of the thing. Like a lot of people counted them out. Like you were one
yeah,
of them, right? I
exactly.
wasn't. I'm always gonna ride with my boy CJ Stroud, but um, this victory for CJ Stroud doesn't make him a top 5 quarterback in the league. Like think
No,
about it.
no,
Really,
it makes him like a really good quarterback. Yeah, he's top 10. I wouldn't say top 5, like or like even top 15. Because the thing is, you got to keep in mind that it wasn't just him that eventually, like the momentum was there. But throughout the game, he started off slow. That team started off slow. It was after a bunch of
but
different
here's
stuff.
my
I'm not
thing though.
don't think that I'm like slandering CJ Stroud's ability to be a
Top
good
15 is
quarterback. I'm not.
crazy.
I'm just saying like I think that I think he's definitely in the conversation of top 10. I don't think he's top 5. I mean, as of right now, he's not.
I mean, who we
Especially
putting?
with the
Who
sophomore
we,
slump.
so my thing
That's like
is
another
like,
debate. That's like another debate, though.
yeah,
I
obviously
feel like
we
I have
don't.
to really
Yeah, we don't
think
have to get.
about. I
Yeah,
have
we
to
don't have to
really
go
think
into that.
about who I want to
I'm just
put in
saying
top
like,
five conversations.
no, no,
But
no.
it's just like
I just think that like this victory, like I really like. Okay, like my thing with this is like people. I feel like are not giving enough credit for CJ Stroud this victory. Like he he literally had to go up against one of the top defenses in the league, and mind you, he did not have throughout the season. Like people are saying, oh, you had the slump. Okay, yeah, his offensive line is banged up this whole season. He has literally did not have Tank Dell or Stephon Diggs coming to the season. And to say that he underperforms, like it's crazy because like how could he play if most of your team is injured? And I feel like
I
he
agree.
came into this game being an underdog and smacked the Chargers. I understand defense, special teams was there for him this game, but you have to also understand that defense and special teams are part of the game. It's part of the team, and it's at the end of the day, it's a team sport. And I feel like this victory really catapulted CJ Stroud. It's like, okay, in his second year, he wins 2 playoff games like already in his home crib. He goes and beats and also mind you, the last year he beat the Cleveland Browns. Not only did he smack the Cleveland Browns, no, he smacked them right, and the Cleveland Browns were also a top 3 defense. 2 years in a row in his own crib, he drops 30 plus against top 5 defenses in the league. I'm just saying, my opinion is like you got to put him at least top 5, top 10, man. Because the fact that he's done this 2 years in a row, it's scary for the league. And look, I know he probably won't win next week against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but there's got to be a question about if he has a chance to be the face of the league soon or like an MVP if he gets a healthy Texans team because the sky's the limit for him. And I really, really was impressed from, you know, obviously he didn't have the best first half, but the second half, with all the odds stacked up against him, he still wins against the Chargers, a team that a lot of people unanimously had winning this game. And the way the Texans were like slumping, picked it up in the playoffs. You got to talk about it because I had a conversation with my boy David. He's obviously was on the podcast here and there, and we had a conversation. He's like, CJ started Jordan Love, and we're gonna get into Jordan Love later. And I'm like, it's obviously CJ Stroud, but I don't know. A lot of people are disagreeing with me there, but uh, I don't know. I think people are disrespecting CJ Stroud because he had a bad regular season, but I really care about the postseason. What do you do in the postseason? And I think he came up big for the Texans today and did not lose the game for them. He only won it for them.
I see what you mean. I mean, personally, I kind of disagree. I think that I agree. He's top
Mm-hmm.
10, no doubt about it. I don't think he's top 5 yet. Um, I just think that
Mm-hmm.
this game, while he did help a lot, um, obviously he made some insane throws in this game. Not taking that away from him, but I think it was more a team effort rather than just
Yeah,
put on the back of CJ
that's
Stroud.
football though. That's football. I mean,
Right.
that's football.
But I feel like his performance didn't wow me enough for me to like say, okay, he's top 5 material right now.
Okay, wait.
Um,
Okay, here's my question. Oh wait, I have a question. So let's just say like next week he goes against the Chiefs. They don't win, but he balls out. He gets like a 300
oh
yard
yeah,
game,
I mean,
three
but like,
touchdowns.
but I
But
don't know. I mean,
I mean, it's
if
the
he
Chiefs.
like if he beats the Chiefs, then it's a conversation.
No, no, not
Then it's
beats. Like I don't think they're beating the Chiefs, but like let's just say he goes into Arrowhead, puts up a really good game. I I think the
there's a good
conversation's
chance.
got
There's
to
a
be
good
there.
conversation. I think he's like, I think he's borderline top 5. I don't think he's like top 5 yet. I think he's like
Yeah.
flirting between like 6 through 8 right now. Like I
Okay,
think that's
that's fair. That's fair. I personally have
yeah. I
another
think
five, but
he
that's
has a
fair.
long way
That's
to
fair.
go. I think
That's
that
fair.
like
That's
it's too
fair.
early on in his career.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of the people in the top
He brings
5,
Herbert though.
Herbert is I think like he's top 15,
He's
top
top
10.
10.
Like he's
Yeah.
still good. Like I don't think that this one like yes he hasn't played well in the postseason, but from his body of work, like I don't think that should just discredit him like
No, for
from
sure. For
at
sure.
all being in the thing. He's still an elite quarterback, and just that he really shit the bed when it comes to this game. All
I
right,
would
let's
say
move
he's
on.
a. I would say he's a good quarterback. I wouldn't say he's elite. Elite, like for me, if you're elite, you have to win the playoffs. Like you had to ball out in
Exactly.
the playoffs.
Yeah. All
Uh,
right. This game, a lot of people, this score is very misleading, but it was 21-0 at halftime. And, the Baltimore Ravens, got to give Lamar credit. I mean, listen.
I'll let you go first, man.
I'm not.
I
Yeah.
have a spiel,
Yeah.
so you go first,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Listen. Personally, this is good. Lamar took care of business. Okay.
Yes.
Lamar and Derrick Henry are both a great tandem. And, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been on a downfall since a couple weeks now.
No, five
But
weeks.
5 weeks, fine. It doesn't really make a difference, really.
Yeah.
I need to see this against the Buffalo Bills and against the Chiefs for me to officially say this team is legit. The Ravens are legit, but I need to see the same performance occur
You can do the Chiefs, man.
against the Chiefs, against the Bills. Then and
Maybe the
only
Bills.
then can we have the conversation of, Lamar winning a Super Bowl. Because at the end of the day, listen, I think this is his best shot right now. Lamar's best shot is now. We thought it was last year. I think it is this year. Because it's kind of crazy because you thought that last year, with Mike McDonald as your defensive coordinator, him leaving, replaced by Orr, um, and adding Derrick Henry and stuff like that. It's changed the team. Lamar has improved his game a lot. Um, he's had some bad games throughout the season, but for the most part, he hit 4,000 yards for the first time in his career. Had some MVP numbers in the season. He's probably going to win his third MVP, probably even unanimously. Because he won a playoff game, had insane stats. Uh, you got to give credit where credit is due. I still need to see the same performance, the same level of dominance for me to officially be like, okay, this guy's legit. Because for the Baltimore Ravens like perspective, last year they had a bye week, right?
Mhm.
And they then faced the Texans team who is young, inexperienced, whatever. And they completely blew them out of the water. With them feeling high and confident, they went into Kansas City and oh wait, no, it wasn't Arrowhead, right? No.
No, it wasn't. The Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, it was in M&T Stadium. You're right, right. M&T Stadium, they got, cooked. It wasn't really necessarily cooked, but like Lamar didn't have a good game. This year, I think they're taking it a lot more seriously. Where, they have they didn't have a bye week. They
Mhm.
won the division still, and they got to face their division rival in the first week of the playoffs. Which is, division game, no matter where you play it, whether it's in the regular season or postseason, is still a good, indicator of and good practice in a sense for going on into the next round. You're always warmed up, you know. Zay didn't even play in this game either, so it makes this game a little bit more impressive too from Lamar's point of view because you didn't have your
Mhm.
number one wide receiver as well. All being said, let's get to the point. Lamar has to show this performance again against the Bills next week, and then has to show this eventually if he moves on after.
Here's my thing, man. I mean, you know what? Shout out to Lamar Jackson, like taking business in the playoffs, taking care of your business in the playoffs. I was really, really happy for him, honestly. I've been very critical of Lamar this season. He finally proved that he's a great passer. And there's really nothing for me to say, man. I mean, I hope he does well in the playoffs. Um, and I think he played really well. And they go against the Bills. But you say take care against the Chiefs? Like, come on now. That's a little too much to ask, man. I mean, that's just too much to ask for any quarterback to go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. It's only been done once. So, actually no, it's been done twice. Never mind. Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. But I'm just saying here, man, I think the Ravens they have a great shot. I mean, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, like their rushing attack, it's just unstoppable. I mean, there was literally a drive in the game where they went all rushes. Like I think there was like 11 or 12 rushes, and all went for a touchdown. I mean, it ended up being a touchdown. I mean, that's how unstoppable we're. They ran the ball every play and got a touchdown. And then just for the Steelers side of the ball, I mean, like you're down 21-0. I mean, Russell Wilson, I mean, I've been saying it for a long time that he should not be the quarterback. But, anyways, he has a stinker. Only has one first down in the first quarter. I mean, sorry, in the first half. Like, I mean, there's a lot of questions for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they have a lot of holes on this team. I mean, this defense, so expensive defense, like doesn't ball out. Quarterback, they have a big problem with that. Like, do you re-sign Russ? Do you go with Justin Fields? Do you go and get another quarterback? Does Arthur Smith stay? Does Mike Tomlin stay? I mean, Chicago Bears do not trade for him, bro. Don't trade for him. He's gonna give you a 9-8 season, and I mean, I'll be honest, man. Mike Tomlin has got to be the most conservative coach I've ever seen in my life, man. It's 4th and inches. You're down 21-0. You punt the ball. You punt the ball, and it's also on the 55. It's on the opponent's 45-yard line. You punt the ball. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know, man. I just really don't understand Mike Tomlin's philosophy of just going like he's very conservative. I just don't understand. I think he's very old school, and his way of football does not work anymore. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers have lost every year in the playoffs. Like, hasn't won a playoff game since 2016, man. I mean, it's cool that you go 9-8 every year, but for what? That's being mid every year is not worth it. It's just not worth it in the league, man. So, um, the Ravens. I mean, look, not the Ravens, the Steelers. I think you focus more on the Steelers. I said the Ravens started. I'm gonna start focus on the Steelers side. This offseason, man, like what I'm gonna ask you a question too. What do you do for quarterback?
That's a good
What do you
question.
do?
Um,
Like do you
I'll say
like do you
I'd
go with
probably just.
Justin here?
I
Like
mean,
he's a
all
young guy. You
depends.
traded for him. You
Um,
like give him a
he
1 year
declined his
contract,
he
25
declined his
million.
5th year option. Um, so it's gonna be a little bit tough. I will say, if you do bring back Justin, I don't think they're gonna pay an exorbitant amount of money for him.
You don't have to. I think you give him a 1 year prove it deal. And if he balls out, you pay him.
Yeah,
That's what
if
I
anything,
think.
that's probably gonna be the case. But it also depends on what Justin wants as well. He's a I think unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, he
Um,
can go anywhere. So I'm excited
yeah,
where he goes, man. Because you know me, I'll always go support him. But I mean, I feel like the Steelers should go with him because like he's younger. I mean, Russell Wilson, you saw the ceiling with him. It's like your first round exit. I mean, I'm so serious. They were better with Mason Rudolph. They were literally better with Mason Rudolph. They had a fighting chance against the Bills last year until they were like the fourth quarter and then they lost. Like like you were 10-7. You ended the season 10-8 with Mason Rudolph and with Russell Wilson.
hmm
I mean, and like Steelers fans, I see in the Twitter like what would have happened if we kept Justin Fields? Like, well, I guess Mike Tomlin will never know. It's your fault, buddy. You're the one who ended the season, who in the midseason took off Justin Fields and put in put in Russell Wilson, and you took that chance and you failed. Um, I don't know. I think Russell Wilson, he's a fine quarterback, but you can't win with him. You just can't. You saw the ceiling with him. Um, and I think George Pickens. I mean, he had a touchdown this game, but do the Steelers pay him? Like, there's a lot of questions about the Steelers, man. I feel like we need a whole episode to talk about the Steelers because there's so much holes on this team. I thought the Bears were like bad. No, we're just a head coach and like decent playmakers away. The Steelers, in my opinion, are way worse than us, man. They have so much problems on this team. It's because they can't move the ball offensively. They just can't. You can't. You can't just keep winning with your defense. It doesn't work in the playoffs. It just doesn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, man.
yeah, they have a lot to do offensively as well, like fixing everything, and it's just the culture of just maintaining being mid. That's just the
I
Steelers
think
way.
I just think that you have to get rid of Tomlin. There's got to be a conversation about that. You like at
They're
some
not going
point,
to. They're not going to
mediocre.
because he meet. they're gonna stay the standard. That's the way they do it. Um, at least that's what it looks like. I don't
But I
think they're
thought the
gonna
standard
get
in
rid of.
Pittsburgh. I thought the
I'll be
standard in
so
Pittsburgh is winning the
shocked.
championship.
I will be so shocked if they actually fire him because they if they haven't done it,
Maybe trade
they
him.
had a chance to do it in 2018. They didn't, and
Maybe
they
trade
should
him.
have done it back then, but they never did, and they maintained that. And they're like, okay, I guess we're just gonna be
What
this
about
is gonna be
trading him?
identity, huh?
What about trading him?
They're not going to. They're going to keep him because they won 9 games plus. So
No, they won
they're
10,
going to
but
keep
like
him.
I don't know.
They're not going to
I
fire. Oh,
wouldn't
it's a
though.
very rare case that you fire someone that has 10 wins usually, and the rare case being Lovey Smith and the Bears. So like it's a you know
I
ownership,
mean, if
especially
I'm the
their ownership
Steelers,
group is
if
like
I'm
very
the
complacent.
Steelers, real quick before we go to the Bills Broncos game, real quick. If I'm the Steelers, man, like if I'm bringing okay, if I fire Tomlin, like if they somehow fire Tomlin or trade him, I want like an offensive mind like Liam Cohen or like someone else. I think they need to go offense. You got to. You cannot go defense. You can't go with like an Aaron Glenn or something like that. You got to go offense. That's all I'm saying. But
Mm-hmm.
Chicago
Right.
Bears, please do not trade for Mike Tomlin, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Broncos Bills. Not much really else to say. Bo had a really good touchdown to start the game, but then the Broncos offense just got stalled. Um, the Bills just looked really good the entire game. Josh Allen, great performances per usual. James Cook cooked for sure. He couldn't be stopped. Um, ball was spread around a lot, and just dominated on all aspects of the game. But to be fair, kind of saw this coming because the Broncos, say what you want about what they did with Russ last year and all that. Um, the fact that they were able to, you know, eat up a ton of his contract, um, and uh, then the follow up the next year with being in the playoffs is kind of crazy with a rookie quarterback. So that's already a win in itself. I think that the Broncos have a bright future ahead of them. As long as once they like get past that whole, um, once they improve their team a little bit more, I think they're going to be in a good spot. It's just going to be in a little bit of a cap situation for like a couple more years. And Buffalo Bills, eyes are all set on trying to make one last attempt of making a Super Bowl. I don't think it's their last attempt. I think it's like
No, yeah, I was gonna
one of the
say.
few attempts that to make a Super
I mean,
Bowl.
Josh Allen. As long as you have Josh Allen, you're gonna make it. You have a chance. But yeah,
Yeah,
keep going.
I
I
mean,
look. I agree with you, man. Like this game was just. I saw it coming. I was surprised. I would be shocked if the Broncos had like made it a one score game. Like I knew the Bills were gonna run the table. Like this game felt like Illinois going into Oregon, man. Like I'm sorry. Like the Broncos had no chance. They had no chance. But I think Josh Allen. Look, I mean, like I was happy for him because I feel like this game, like like last year against the Steelers against Mason Rudolph, like the Bills, like they almost lost that game. Like, it was close. It was a close game. And then the fourth quarter, Josh Allen came and turned up and beat them. But I was happy for him because he came and obviously didn't take the opponent lightly, went in and won the game, and now they're on to bigger things. They got to go and beat the Ravens. Last time they played this season, Lamar destroyed Josh Allen and the Bills. This year, though, this time it's in Buffalo. Josh Allen and the Bills have gotten better. So I think you know where I'm going with this. I think the Bills, I don't know. I mean, obviously the prediction video is going to come soon, but I think the Bills will win this game because I feel like what I saw today was James Cook running the ball really effectively. But the only thing with the Ravens is they do have a really good rush defense. So that's the little thing that scares me a little bit for the Bills is like they do have running defense. Can the wide receivers of the Bills really elevate? But okay, here's the crazy thing, guys. I don't know if this is really true or not because I don't know how MVP voting works. I'm not sure if they already voted already and they're going to reveal it later. But
mhm.
if they haven't voted, does this game against the like kind of the Bills versus the Ravens kind of like make a case for the MVP, or is that like is it already the MVP race already done?
I mean, it's not done yet. They're gonna vote later, but I think votes are pretty much only considering the regular season. So really, not much else to say.
I'm just saying if Josh Allen beats Lamar, he can really like put an end to it. Like that's what I'm saying. But
I don't
it's
think
gonna be
he
the battle of
will.
the MVPs. It's gonna be the battle of like who should win MVP, and I'm excited for that matchup. Really, I really hope Josh wins it. But again, if Lamar wins it, that's good for him too. So yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, this is the best game for me at least. I enjoyed this thoroughly. Very well deserved for the Eagles. Very well deserved for the Packers. Um, you know, can we have a conversation that the Green Bay Packers have missed on their quarterback?
no, I can't. Sadly, I can't say that. I can't say that,
Yeah,
man.
I know.
I
Hmm.
just, I just can't because he went last year into Dallas. I know it's the Cowboys. I get it. It's the Cowboys, but let's be honest. If we did that last year, like we would be gloating about
Right.
that. Like it was still a really good feat what he did last year. I mean, I still think he's a good quarterback.
Hmm.
I think he's a little overrated. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
I mean, look, this game was just not good. I mean, you have 3 interceptions. Not a good game for him. Now, I will entertain if Caleb Williams is better than him. I will entertain that conversation maybe next year. But no, I think Jordan Love is a really good quarterback. I think the Packers are fine. And mind you, guys, like as much as we don't like the Packers, we have to also understand the Packers are a very young team. The fact that they made the playoffs 2 years in a row as a 7 seed, they're a very young team. They know how to draft. I still trust their front office to make good decisions. I hope they don't, but you know, I think they will make some good decisions in the offseason. I think they need to draft a cornerback. Um, get a true wide receiver one this offseason because they have, in my opinion, they have a bunch of wide receiver twos and threes. They don't have that wide receiver one. And I think Jordan Love could really benefit from a wide receiver one. I think Josh Jacobs is only going to get better next season. He has a chance to be RB1 next season. So I think the Green Bay Packers have a really good future ahead of them. And then for the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like this is a game you needed to win. And guys, I'll say this. I think Hurts is overrated. After what I just saw today, I think Hurts is overrated. I think he's a game manager. Like this year, Hurts has just been a game manager. I'm being so serious. I think he hit his peak in 2022, and ever since then, he's been a game manager. And look, if I'm the Eagles, man, I do not I do not want to see the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm not saying because of Sam Darnold. I do not think I'm saying because of Sam Darnold. I'm saying because of the defense of the Minnesota Vikings, man. That defense is going to blitz Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts this year against the blitz has been really abysmal. And I just think that Hurts has not been that accurate this season. And I'm being so serious. I think Hurts, he's a game manager, man. That's what he's been this season. But honestly, today, that's all they really needed him to be today. I mean, when you have Saquon Barkley, you don't really need to be like you don't have to have Hurts go crazy. But I mean, he's got to ball out better, man. He's got to play better in these coming weeks if the Eagles want to even have a chance to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion, man.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I think that the Philly has a lot of questions. I mean, not a lot of like some questions. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think they're still a great team. Defensively, they're very sound. They did wreak havoc on Jordan Love. But Jordan Love did kind of like But as long as you have Saquon, you're kind of set. For the Eagles just getting Saquon is just you know icing on the cake for them. Um, and they'll face whoever wins in whoever wins the Rams versus Vikings game
Probably gonna be the
tomorrow.
Rams.
Um, but yeah, let's talk about the final game of this today at least. Commanders, Buccaneers. Dude, if there's a team that has plot armor, it's definitely the Washington Commanders. Um, having 13 like 12 wins this season, from being one of the second in the draft last year. That just shows you. I say this again, how important changing your ownership group, creating a culture, getting, the proper help for your quarterback development is so crucial for a young quarterback, a young team like they are, and having a solid veteran presence. I think the Commanders check all those boxes. And listen, offensively, you got to give Cliff Kingsbury some due. You know, he's been great. He has been beating all the allegations of being a merchant, a early season merchant, and being found out. He hasn't been found out yet. Um, did granted, Commanders did have the luxury of facing some easy opponents, or not necessarily easy, but they did have some good matchups. They did have some lucky moments, Bears Hail Mary moment, and that doesn't overshadow how clutch and how good Jaden Daniels has been playing. You gotta give credit where credit is due. He's been playing well, played really good. Um, that's what happens when you have a structurally sound room when it comes to your
I
development
mean,
standpoint, and you got to also take into
okay.
account that Jaden is not easy as well for a rookie quarterback. It's not everyone can do what Jaden
Yeah,
does.
for sure.
And like if he were on the Bears, I think he would have struggled personally.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, any quarterback, any people that say that Jaden should have been a Bear, that's completely false
No.
because
Oh no.
it
No.
would have been worse than what we have. I think Jaden is benefiting a lot from the system that is placed on the Washington Commanders. Not a detriment to Jaden. Nothing against Jaden for that. He was just happened to be in a good situation and he's benefiting from it. And you gotta like that. You always like to see quarterbacks that are taking up that high thrive because of good, take
I
of the ownership group and the team taking care of them.
Here's my thing, bro. Like honestly, congratulations to the Washington Commanders, man. Like it pains me to say this, man. Baker Mill. Ah, this one stings, man. But hey, look, honestly, congratulations. But you said Jane's clutch. Okay, yeah,
He is.
he's clutch, but he's clutch, but like I'll say this, he's clutch, but I think Caleb would have been even more like as clutch as him if his team could finish his clutch
Right. Okay.
moments,
Okay.
man.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not. But
I'm
this
saying, I'm
isn't
just saying.
about
No, I'm
Caleb
not
right now.
saying. It's not about him. It's not about him.
I know.
You
I'm just
said that
saying,
he
like,
wouldn't have
he
thrived.
had
Like,
clutch moments this year. I'm not making it as about Caleb. Okay, take Caleb out of the situation. There's nothing to do with Caleb. I'm just saying when the game was on the line and they needed him to run, push the ball down the field, he either did that with the pass, he did that with his legs. Just plain and simple. That's all I'm saying. He's delivered, and that's why they had 12 wins this season. That's all I'm saying. And for
okay,
the Buccaneers side, before I get to let you talk. I think that the Bucks did fine. That last play and was kind of like the backbreaker, with Baker fumbling a little bit, fumbling the handoff, and Todd Bowles had some bad clock management at the end. I think that's also a big factor. When it comes to this game, and yeah, I mean, like if you look at the stats, like hold on, let me put the team stats wise. Like it was almost a pretty even game. Like from an efficiency standpoint.
I mean,
Fourth
just
down
like it
wise, they did.
sucks.
Yeah,
It sucks for Baker, man. Like,
it
dude, like
does.
this season, like you had such a great season, and like you lose in the first
Not
round,
having
man. Like,
Godwin to help out in the wide receiver core does suck. Um, but
I'll say this: if I'm Chris Godwin, I'm re-signing and like I'm running it back at this team, man. This team could be really dangerous this offseason. If the Buccaneers really like want to be good, they have to make like you got your quarterback. You got to go and get like you got to get like some good corners. I think like I mean McCollum is fine, but like you need another wide receiver,
McMillan,
cornerback too. No. McMillan's a wide receiver. I'm talking about the corners. Like McMillan. Sorry, McCollum. I said McCollum. McCollum is
Oh,
he's a corner. Yeah, he's decent, but you need another one, and I just think that if they can improve that, you still have Antoine Winfield, who's a really good safety. I think you're
hmm
fine. Um, and it just sucks, man. This is one of Baker's best years, and like it just came to waste, man. And now I'm gonna go listen on TV and hear Sean McCoy and everybody say, "Oh, Baker's this, Baker's that." But at the
who
end of the day,
cares?
this playoff game should not put a detriment to what Baker Mayfield did this season. He was really, really good. Really earned that contract that he received last offseason. As a Baker fan, I'm really happy for him, and I
Yeah,
just
same
want
here.
the the Buccaneers to next season, build around Baker. He's your franchise guy, and go out and go win that division again for the third straight year, and try to be a higher seed, and just improve the defense. I feel like the defense needs to be improved just a little bit more, but I'm happy for him, man. For the Commander side, look, I think Jaden's, pains me to say, this, man. Like, dude, Jaden Daniels, like, I'm sorry, you're not better than Caleb, buddy, but it's a good win though for you. It's a good win, for Jaden for JD5, but I think really, I'm really impressed with Cliff Kingsbury's play calling. But if you really look at the game, man, like, man, bro's a check down merchant. But I'm not trying to hate here, but um, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the Commanders fans. They finally got a playoff win since 2005. Win for them. Um, but it just sucks that it's gonna have to end next week when they got to go against the Lions, and when they get blown out by the Lions, it's gonna suck for them. But um, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the Lions. Go Lions, go! Go Lions, go, buddy!
I would not.
Lions all the way.
Hell,
Screw the
hell no.
Commanders. Screw Jaden
I am
Daniels.
so
Screw
sorry.
that
I will
champ.
never. You will never catch me rooting for a division
I will
opponent.
be
But
gladly,
I,
and then they can
I'm
lose to the
sorry.
Eagles
I
in the
am not
conference. They can
rooting
lose.
for him.
They can lose to the Eagles in the conference championship, and the Eagles can go to the Super Bowl. I just really,
I'm
really
sorry.
want the. I just really want that to happen, man. Like, I
I
don't
don't
know.
want
This
it.
is my.
I can't stand it. Like I will not be able to stand it. No. Oh God, no. Ugh. Even thinking about it makes my skin crawl. But you know, hope the
You want to
Commanders
predict
can
real
pull
quick?
off an upset. But
You want to really?
oh yeah, for the the Lions. Sorry, not the Lions. The Vikings Rams game. I think that we'll kind of talk about it more on the pod episode later on. It's fine. And we don't have to necessarily talk about it today because it hasn't happened yet.
You want
This
to
is
stream
more of
it
a
tomorrow?
general recap. Streaming, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Because I have some work to do, and I've busy schedule ahead. But hopefully, I'm trying to aim to see if I can stream by the AFC Championship and NFC Championship games, at least because I think this upcoming weekend I'm also pretty busy. So we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. But that's gonna do it for today's episode. And this is gonna be like a little bit of a special edition. And make sure to like and subscribe. And it's probably gonna come out like on a Monday. So if you're seeing this, it's probably come out already. Um, Remember Tuesdays and Thursdays we have episodes as well. And yeah, any final comments with that?
Nah, but go Rams, man. Go Rams.
Yeah,
Go
Rams.
Lions.
Oh hell no, no! Go Rams, go Commanders, and um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. All right, that's gonna do it for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.